Let's talk some sports, baby.
Taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jones.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today, and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. As a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each segment available. Head on over, and if you like what you hear, we would appreciate your subscription. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Good to see y'all. As always, it's the beer, it's a drink, and it's the wisdom. Let's go.
Let's talk some sports, baby.
Always miss that. In episode 74, the NBA considers play-in tournaments, baseball struggles with the financials, and we examine the commitment of NFL teams to their quarterbacks. But first, we begin with ESPN First Take's countdown of the top 15 NBA primetime players. Over the last 2 weeks, the show has been counting down the top current players in the NBA, and their list concluded today with LeBron James holding the top spot. He was followed by Giannis, KD, Kawhi, and Steph, rounding out the top 5. 6 through 10 features James Harden, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, and finally, the Joker. So nothing on this list seems too blasphemous, but did they get it right? Let's throw out our own top 10, starting with you, Jay.
Yeah, I don't, you referenced the First Take list. I don't see anything too egregious, and we just keeping this with our top 10s. But I got the Greek Freak at number 1, the reigning MVP, likely to win his second consecutive MVP this season. I think he's been that great. Most dominant force in the NBA that we have at this moment in time. He does it at both ends on a high level. He's improved his perimeter jump shooting. Still not, a lethal threat from out there, but he has improved. That was one of the keys we were looking for this season. And he's on the best team in the NBA, at least record-wise. So we got to take that in consideration. We also got to remember when he got hurt against the Lakers, the Bucks went into a tailspin. So that tells you how valuable he is in comparison with other teams out here. Their second component with your Anthony Davis, your Russell Westbrook, some of those guys, no disrespect. The Bucks' second option is Chris Middleton. So that's what I'm looking at when I consider Giannis as number 1 right now. I got Kawhi Leonard at number 2. Again, a guy that does it on both ends. 2-time Finals MVP and your reigning Finals MVP. And when I look at the Clippers, this is another case where the Robin to his Batman has been somewhat compromised this year. So I'm taking that into consideration with Paul George being somewhat hampered. We haven't seen the best of him consistently. That's why I got Kawhi at number 2. And I got LeBron right there at 3rd. He's had an absolutely fantastic season, making somewhat of a formalized transition to the point guard position, leading the NBA in assists. He's been outstanding, but he has been helped tremendously by the outstanding play of Anthony Davis. And then you also consider, I'm gonna tell you, LeBron, when fully engaged, he can ramp up the defensive intensity. But on a consistent basis throughout games and throughout the season, I don't see the consistency that we've seen in years past. That's why I got him at 3. We're looking at 4 and 5 now, and these are some guys that have been, beset by injuries. Kevin Durant at 4. We got to remember, before Kevin Durant's injuries in the finals, this was a guy who was arguably, you could have him at number 1 on this list. But when we take into consideration the Achilles injury, and we've seen many careers derailed by that injury. So we don't know how good he will be when he returns. I don't know if we're going to see the same KD ever again. And with that in mind, it's hard to justify him being above the likes of Giannis, Kawhi, and LeBron. I think 4 is the correct spot for him right now. Steph Curry, I'm less concerned about his injuries or the wrist injury that he had. But I think he bounces back strong. I think 5 is the right spot for him. Still the most lethal marksman we've got in this game, best shooter of all time. And make no mistake, I expect the Warriors to be back locked and loaded again next year with the return of Steph, with the return of Clay. You got Wiggins, you got Draymond Green. I expect them to be excellent. I expect Steph to be leading the charge. Anthony Davis is 6. He's been the best Batman in the league this year. He's been the best number 2 option when we talk about all the great duos across the NBA. He's been absolutely outstanding on both ends. He leads the Lakers in all major statistical categories outside of assists. He's been nothing short of outstanding. He's played through injuries. He shows some grit and grind and persevering through those things. And he's going to be the key to whether or not the Lakers win the championship. James Harden, number 7, seems a little low when you consider how lethal of a scorer he's been leading the NBA in scoring. But I got to take into consideration some of the playoff performances that just haven't measured up to his regular season excellence. And when you take that in consideration, I just have a hard time justifying having him any higher than 7. That's where I'm at with that. Luka Doncic, the young stud, second-year player who's having somewhat, when you take out some of the injuries he's had, he's played at an MVP level when he's on the court. I don't think we expected Dallas to make this type of jump from last year to this year. But he's been absolutely leading the charge. Kristaps Porzingis, he's been trying to get integrated into what they're doing. He hasn't really got up to full speed yet, so it has been Luka Doncic absolutely leading the charge down there. And I think 8's the right spot for him. Listen, Russell Westbrook at number 9, they had him outside the top 10. I believe they had him at 12. But since Houston has doubled down on small ball and got Clint Capella up out of there, it's benefited Russell Westbrook greatly. He's been able to attack the paint in the half court as well as transition. And we know when he gets out in the open floor, very difficult to stop. And he's been absolutely fantastic. And he's performed at a higher level since that Clint Capella deal than James Harden. I think he's played the top 10 level since then. That's why I got him at 9. And then number 10, the much maligned Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers, at least on this show, because we know they've been massive disappointments this season. Maybe the layoff has benefited them. Well, we don't know. That remains to be seen. But the guy's talent is undeniable. He's the most talented big man in this game. And I couldn't imagine putting Nikola Jokic ahead of him, even as outstanding as he has been. And as Embiid, I got Embiid at 10.
Yeah, my list is somewhat similar to Jay's. I do have some disparity in it, but I'm gonna go from 10 to 1. So we're gonna hop right in. Number 10, I got Mr. Popeye spicy chicken sandwich himself, Joel Embiid. I caught the flu 2 times in one playoff series. Look, here's the deal. We're more focused on what he does, in between quarters, what he does before the game and after the game, than what he does during the game. And here's the deal, just like Jay said, he has all the talent in the world. He should be somewhere in the top 5, but his antics and everything else, and maybe just his lack of maturity, his lack of being a leader, whatever the case might be, got him at 10. Number 9, I got Damian Lillard. Hey, listen, got hurt before the All-Star weekend, but still performed that All-Star weekend. That's pretty cool. But listen, he had a chance to be high on the list, but I don't know, he played good enough to be an all-pro guard, make the All-Star game. I just don't see where Lillard, he's doing the shoulder workouts. And what I mean by that, I just don't see how you can put a team on his shoulders. I'm not overly impressed with him just taking over and getting the job done. It seems to me that he has to have C.J. McCullough there, or he has to have somebody there to prop him up. Now, I know in today's game, having more than one star, you got to have it. But listen, for all the juice that I hear about Damian Lillard, I expect a little more. On number 8, I got the Slovenian young killer there, Luka Doncic, one of the biggest guards I ever seen in my life. He coming out here. Listen, Jay explained it about as good as you can. Look, Dallas was a team that wasn't on our radar. Here's the deal. They wasn't on the radar at all. And when you tried to mention Dallas to me earlier, I understand they had that European connection with him and Kristaps, I understand that, but listen, you can take that crap to the Bermuda Triangle because I wasn't buying it. But, I was a believer once I seen them get down. And the only thing, I feel for this team is they just got to learn how to get it together, meaning they got to learn how to play at the highest level together. And this team could be something. But right now, Lucas, for his age, he's definitely the future of the NBA, so there's no doubt about it. I got him at number 8. Number 7, I got AD. Mr. Unibrow himself. Look, here's the deal. Hey, that guy then came over. He done left the 0, and he got him a hero over there with the Lakers, and he's experienced a lot of success at a high level. But the one thing that we're worried about with AD, we have yet to really get an answer. Will we get a full series? Can he handle the grind of a series? Listen, he has been out a little nicks here and there. LeBron has brought him in and said, look, you got to learn how to play through that. You can't just look, if your toe hurt, you can't just take 2 days off. No, you got to play through it. So he hasn't been sitting out as much this year, but we got to see him once the playoffs starts. So I got him at number 7. And let me backtrack and let me not undermine his defensive presence with the Lakers. Very, very, very valuable. And I do think he's the defensive player of the year as of right now. Number 6, I got James Harden. Here's the deal. We know he'll flop a Rooski. We know he flops in the playoff and he flops on the floor. But here's the deal. This guy has mastered the free throw game. He done mastered the underhook, grab you and make you punch yourself, but I'm going to get the foul. But at one point, he was in the MVP conversation, and we got to remember this guy was averaging like 45 points a game. Now, he ran out of gas, I guess. Somebody get him a Gatorade. But at that point, he was the hottest shooter in the league, and it was bar none. He was very entertaining. He was high octane. And, listen, you got to give a man credit where credit due. And I think as far as the defense side of the ball, he get a raw deal. Like people, he don't play defense. I think he's sneaky good with defense. He just played with a coach that wouldn't play defense if it was on sale at Walmart for, 99 cents. So I think that's more the coach than it is him. However, it is what it is. I got James Harden, number 6. Number 5, I got Steph Curry. Here's the deal. Now, Steph Curry, being the offensive mind that he is, he could easily be in the top 3 somewhere. But he did get hurt. And he's playing with a bunch of Band-Aids. Like some of these guys he playing with, if you take Draymond out, you got a Wikipedia these guys. Let's be serious. So he's not like he's out here playing some playoff level ball this year. He just came back, made sure the injury was healing the right way, and he out. But at the end of the day, Steph Curry is easily a top 5 player. Easily top 5. And when he's really on it, he's a top 3 player. So I got him at 5. 4, I got KD coming in. Listen, before KD got hurt, ain't no way you don't got KD in your top 2. I don't care if Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi, yeah, that's all sound good. But when none of them messing with the tarantula, you know what I'm saying? The tarantula. You know what I'm saying? 7-foot assassin, shooting it from everywhere, dunk on you. Oh, yeah, and when he decided to play defense, he a dog on that side too. The only thing you can say is he got some of the hardest hair in the business and he need to brush it. But outside of that, listen, the guy's the truth when it comes to the game of basketball. But, hey, he's been out all year. We got to see where he's going to come back. He already had frail legs from the start. So now he's come back from an injury. Now we're really about to see how frail those legs is. So that would be exciting to see him come back. Number 3, I got Kawhi Leonard. You know how I feel about Kawhi. I think throughout the season, either A, his injury was getting better, or B, he was learning how to play with the injury. But I seen him taking a lot less time off as the season was going with the load management. I mean, honestly, he was getting under the radar with the load management. We was kind of harping on the load management at the beginning of the season, but by the time Paul George actually came back and got in the groove, we seen it in that Sunday game with the Lakers, where the Lakers played like that back-to-back on that weekend. Listen, he played pretty much all the minutes. We know what he do on the defense side of the ball. We know his championship pedigree. That's not to be denied. And I think if it wasn't for the season that LeBron and Giannis were having, we'll be talking about Kawhi being number 1 and possibly being the MVP frontrunner. And then speaking of MVP frontrunner, these last 2, number 2 is Giannis. Listen, we know what it is. The Greek. He might not could pick an all-star team, but look, the dude is a baller. Here's the deal. And let me tell you what else I like about Giannis. Sidebar here. But for him not to be an American-born player, his English is pretty doggone good. But I mean, he got the accent. But, I mean, this guy is a tireless worker when you listen to him talk and just know he hasn't been in America all that long. Like, his English is pretty good. Either way, the guy can play some basketball, too. He pretty much got an unstoppable move. Once he drives and put 1 foot in the paint, you're either going to get dunked on or you're going to follow him. It's pretty unstoppable. But like you said earlier, put him on that free throw line, make him shoot more threes. We will see what happens when you put him in a 7-game series when you got Chris Middleton out here actually earning his paycheck. Good luck with that. And then number 1, you know who I got? It's the ageless one, year 17. You know, been the top player in the league for like the last 15 years. I mean, let's be real here. LeBron, you know, small forward that leads the NBA in assists. He probably be the biggest point guard you ever see between him and Magic. But here's the deal. You know what it is when you get LeBron. That's instant success. It's like, you know, oatmeal. You put water, milk, warm it up, bing, bing, it's done. That's LeBron. So with all that said, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my top 10. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, I'll run down mine real quick for what it's worth. I'll start at number 10 as well with Joel Embiid. And for the reason mostly mentioned before, the consistency. Some nights he can be the best player, on the court and obviously the best big man in the world when he's healthy and actually playing. But then he has nights where he may not even score a point. And that's until he see that consistency get worked out of his game, that and the taking some things too personal and whatever. I just feel like at times he's able to put all of his talent on the court, and until he can figure out how to do that, he's going to stay about number 10. Luka at number 9, mostly for me, it's just a matter of time. I think that Luka is going to climb up this list. I think he's quickly going to pass guys like Lillard, maybe get up even with Harden and AD. Like, if he keeps this up, if this trajectory continues, it's going to be special. And if he can develop that relationship more with Kristaps, it's going to be very special. As you said, modern NBA, playing with another star. Can't wait to see what he does, but we've only seen him for kind of a limited time right now, so I have a hard time putting him over like stalwarts of guys like Lillard and Harden and whatnot. So I've got him down there at 9, but that trajectory is definitely looking up. Damian Lillard at 8, just because I think when he's healthy, he's still one of the few players in the game that can truly take over a game or a series and turn it for his team's favor at times. We forget what he did in the playoffs last year for a series. The injuries have set him back a little bit, but I still think he's probably the second best point guard in the league when he's healthy behind Curry, and he can still be quite the force when he is, on point. I have James Harden at 7. Like you said, Drink, the thing about Harden, really, I start looking at these top 7 guys, and you talk about championship pedigree, and you talk about being a two-way player, and the defense has improved. I know it's kind of a meme just throw, Harden doesn't play defense, but it's improved, yes, but it's still not great. And the fact that he's never really done much in the playoffs for me, I have a hard time putting him ahead of any of these other guys ahead of him. Which at number 6, you could make that argument for Anthony Davis, but I think Anthony Davis has solidified himself because, like I said, Anthony Davis hasn't really done too much in the playoffs either, but Anthony Davis does have the backup of, but right now, this season especially, he's been, one of the best two-way players in the league. He's been absolutely a force on the defensive side of the ball, and he's still, like you said, like Jay said, leading the Lakers in scoring, and has definitely solidified his place among the top players. At number 5, I've got Curry, like you guys do. You guys pretty much nailed it. This year he took a year off. But the only knock on Curry getting him getting him from being any higher, I think, is the fact that, again, the defense, talk about people guarding in his position, it's just okay. It's not really anything special. So to me, that's where he falls a little bit below the guys 4 through 1 who could all just lock somebody down if they had to, in addition to also being able to score, which we all know Curry can do that better than almost anybody. KD at 4, like you guys covered it really well, man. The guy is one of the best players in the world when he's healthy, but the injuries have set him back some. And we don't know what kind of KD we're going to get when he comes back from this. He's going to have to prove. Now, I feel like a guy who's 7 foot and can shoot over anybody he wants is probably going to be okay. But, until we see it type thing, we'll keep him at number 4. Kawhi Leonard at number 3, best two-way player in the league. The only thing that keeps him below 1 and 2 for me right now is this season, the load management and the time on and off is pretty much the only separation for me. He's just as good on any given day as number 2 and number 1, which you have no worries about guessing. Giannis at number 2 for me, just because I feel like LeBron is what he's doing in this season and how well he can control a game is simply amazing. And what he's doing in this point in time in his career. And just the fact that Giannis, at the end of the day, if I got to choose LeBron and Giannis as who's the best player, LeBron has championship pedigree. Giannis doesn't yet. So until he gets that ring, to me, I'll keep LeBron ahead of him. But as far as individual seasons, it's neck and neck.